I'm sure by now many of you have seen the story. A woman in a playground being filmed. A man accuses her of calling a small child a racial slur. She initially says, essentially, get away. No, I didn't. And then says, you know what? Yeah, I did. And then yells at the man filming her a racial slur. Since the video has gone viral, this woman has raised now on GiveSendGo $658,219. And it's given rise to the idea that white guilt is over. Now, we have the story from the corporate press and we have the actual GiveSendGo here. And I want to read this for you, but I do want to stress, I think so. I think there is an adequate explanation, which many people are sharing. Not that, I'll say this personally, I would not recommend, and I would have general disdain. I have general disdain for people who are going to start screaming at children racial slurs. You don't need to do that. This woman says that the child was rifling through her bag, stealing her belongings, and so she called him, quote, what he was. That's what she says in her GiveSendGo. No. You know, we don't need to be crass and crude, especially to children. But my opinion on that is an aside. The issue at play right now is that for the past 10, 20, 30 years, white people in the United States have been insulted and derided with the expectation they must accept it. And I think that's a fair assessment. If you take a look at comedy routines, they will use racial slurs for white people. And it has typically been a critical race theory idea that because you are punching up at oppressors, it was okay to racially disparage people. Now, me personally, I've never thought that was acceptable. I can certainly understand why people don't get as mad about it, but I don't think it's acceptable to deride anyone based on their race, be it a black person calling a white person a slur or a white person calling a black person a slur. However, because of the institutions largely being controlled by the left, 10 years ago, this video would have destroyed this woman's life. In fact, we had, 5 years ago, there was a woman in Central Park. She was a white woman with her dog. And a black man started to entice her dog with some kind of food, so she started yelling at him. He filmed her. She didn't call him a slur. That woman still got fired and had her life ruined. In this instance now, nearly $700,000 with a target of $1 million for this woman, Shiloh Hendrix. You know, many people are saying this is a response to the Carmelo Anthony GiveSendGo. Let me pull that one up for you, and I'll break this one down. Carmelo Anthony, for those that are not familiar, I assume most of you are, though the story is not getting as much attention as of today. We're still waiting on developments. He's a kid who was at a high school track meet. After getting into an altercation, stabbed another student in the chest, killing him, striking his heart with a knife. Carmelo Anthony has raised $522,989. And when you take a look at the comments, many people, not all, when you do look at them, are making comments about racial solidarity. We're not seeing that as much right now. You're not seeing a lot of comments. I don't know if they have comments disabled or there were a lot of comments for a while. And a lot of comments on social media where they were saying that, you know, black people need to stick together. I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying the majority. I'm saying you could see these comments. Many people are saying the reason why this woman, Shiloh Hendrix, has raised so much money is because it is a counter to that idea. People were furious that Carmelo Anthony was able to raise $500,000 after killing a kid at a high school track meet, stabbing him, admitting he did it, being charged with first-degree murder. Now, GiveSendGo, of course, has received a lot of flack over this. Their attitude is everybody gets to raise money, and now you have this, the counter move. The Washington Post has the story for us. Let's see how they frame it. Mom raises $500,000 after appearing to hurl racist slur at a child in viral video. I'm going to pause right now. No, the video doesn't show her doing that at all. She hurls a racial slur at a man filming her. Now, since then, they've been posting fake images of this woman claiming she dates black men and is a meth head. I have no evidence that any of that is true, and that is not the same person. Also, so what? I mean, this is weird to me. The attack on this woman because she was a slur is to try and claim that she dated a black man? Are they being racist towards themselves? I don't quite understand. They're trying to say, haha, you white supremacist. She likes black guys. And it's like, whatever. Now, look, I'm not going to donate to her. But I'm also not going to defend the left, as they have perpetuated this culture of punching up, they call it, of critical race theory, where they've told people over and over again that if you're white, they can use racial slurs all day and night, and only white people can be racist. Okay, that's the game you wanted to play. This has long been predicted. There are memes about this, where you see schools, teachers, berating the young white boys, and then the young white boys band together because they're being attacked by the authority in their classroom. And they're like, oh no, why are people forming white identitarian groups? Because you told them to. Washington Post says, a video of a Rochester, Minnesota mom appearing to hurl a racist slur at a black child on a city playground earlier this week has been circulating widely across social media, garnering criticism from many viewers and $500,000 in donations from others. Excuse me. The online donations poured in alongside notes expressing far-right and racist sympathies, prompting a decision to mute comments by the Christian crowdfunding service hosting the campaign, which has been used to make money for. So I think that's why we're not seeing the Carmelo Anthony stuff either. To be fair, they allowed that. The women's fundraiser prompted the local NAACP chapter in Rochester to start its own crowdfunding campaign for the family of the 5-year-old. They say they've raised more than $320,000 by Saturday afternoon. People just be giving money away. What is going on? Shockingly, the woman responsible for this hateful act has launched a fundraising campaign for herself. Many of the comments from her supporters celebrate and justify her hate. We've been asked by countless community members how they can help. This campaign is our answer. A fundraiser on GiveSendGo titled Help Me Protect My Family was started by Shiloh Hendrix. This we've already gone over. Quote, I called the kid out for what he was, her fundraiser reads, adding that a man then began filming her and later posted the video of the encounter online, which has caused my family and myself great turmoil. Jacob Wells, the founder and chief executive of GiveSendGo, told the Washington Post in a statement that his team was aware of the concerns surrounding Hendrix's fundraiser and restricted comments due to the volume of inappropriate remarks that violated our policies. We understand the sensitivity of the situation and the strong emotions it has evoked. GiveSendGo does not endorse or condone the personal views or actions of individual campaign organizers or their supporters, nor do we control the motivations of donors. NBC News identified the man who filmed the encounter as Sharmak Omar, 30. He did not respond to multiple requests for comment. The woman who appeared to carry her own child responded that it wasn't any of Omar's business, then stuck her tongue out at him and flipped him the middle finger. Why don't you have the balls to say it again? Omar asked. In the video, the woman alleged the child was digging through her own child's belongings. Omar asked why she insisted on calling the child a slur, to which she replied, if that's what he's going to act like. In the fundraiser, Hendrix called attention to Omar's police record, which includes traffic violations and a drop charge related to sexual assault. Wow. Omar told the local media outlet that social media users were citing his initial arrest to harass him. The city of Rochester is firmly committed to fostering public spaces that are inclusive, welcoming, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's the story, my friends. Now they've been smearing her. I will say this. When they posted this image claiming she was dating a black man, and you got Hindustan Times, they pop up on Google all the time, by the way. But they outright said, yeah, this is probably not real. It's probably a fake image. I think so. But here's, I'm going to tell you this. I think that you will find white people, Latinos, and Asians who live in urban areas with large black populations drop N-bombs all the time. And these uppity white liberal women, many of them work in media and vote Democrat, don't know this. And I'm not kidding. Dude, look, I don't think people should be going around calling people racial slurs, right? But I'm going to tell you for 2 seconds, go to a park in any city and open your ears. Okay, listen. You've got teenage kids, 14, 15 of all races, dropping N-bombs day and night. You watch videos on YouTube, you can hear them saying over and over and over again. The word is not being used the way people think it's being used. Like the media and these uppity, well-to-do liberals who live in white enclaves and have no idea what's actually going on outside of them. This is actually a component, I might add, of the Culture War live show, which it's on my mind, right? Because we just did it, where we actually had a black woman come up and say to our liberal dude, you don't, like when it comes to deportation, You don't live in our communities. We're suffering because of these gangs. You don't live here. You don't know what it's like. But they certainly want to police how you live. That's what Democrats do. I'll say this. With the white guilt stuff, I think it is largely over. This woman you'd think would lose her job and be canceled. Nah, she raised a fundraiser. She's making money. This sends a message to other white people. Stop taking racial abuse. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I don't think y'all should be going out throwing racial slurs at people. That's just going to create animosity. And I don't want them to do it to white people. I don't want white people to do it to black people. I don't want Asian people, Latino people. Let's insult people because they have bad ideas. Let's deride people for being lazy and for being losers. Okay? Merit, not characteristics people can't change. You know what I mean? Like, she says she was calling him what he was, and I'm like, dude, a thief? Call him a thief. You know what I mean? Now, my point is this. I understand why white people are saying we ain't playing no games anymore, okay? You're not going to spend decades insulting us. You've got poor white people in this country living in trailers in the mountains of Appalachia, struggling to get by. They got terrible health care, and they eat like crap. They are poor as poor can be. And they can be called a racial slur by a wealthy urban black man or Latino man or Asian man? No way. That's basically what people are pissed off about. And I think for the populist movement, it's working class whites and poor whites the whole time who are saying, stop treating us poorly. Just because uppity, well-to-do liberal white women say it doesn't mean it's true of all white people. But we'll see where this goes. I want to make sure everybody keeps their heads on tight. You know what I mean? Like, don't lose it. The last thing I want to see, and the last thing I think y'all want to see, is more videos of people going around just throwing racial slurs at people. Nah. Black people shouldn't call white people slurs, okay? The comedy routines where they do that, it's comedy. Okay, George Carlin did it. That's different. But I'm just saying, going out, starting racial animus, like exacerbating racial animus, I'm not a fan of. But look, I get it. I really do. We'll see how it plays out. I'm going to wrap it up there. Stay tuned. We got more segments coming up today. Smash that like button. Share the show with everyone. You know, you can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all in the next segment.